Christine Brown, formerly introduced merely as the third wife, has redrawn her own story in gorgeous bold ink. No longer reduced to her position within a plural marriage, she is now standing tall as Christine, sure of herself, beaming, and hopelessly in love with a man who makes the choice to love only her, each and every day. Her smile is genuine, her laughter is finally unencumbered, and her supporters feel it too. That burden she used to bear is lifted, replaced by joy, relief, and much overdue justice. Christine didn't leave bitter. She left better. Brick by brick, she crafted something that was never meant to be about presentation. Her cooking show, her burgeoning online presence, her sweet, genuine love story. It wasn't for the audience. It was for her. And it's everything she deserved after all those years of being ignored. Janelle went another way. Quiet, solid, strong without shouting. She did not slam doors or set fires to get out. She simply ceased to participate in her own suffocation. And in that quiet, she became strong. Janelle focused her energy on real estate, mentoring, and raising her children. It wasn't a matter of revenge. It was a matter of taking herself back. Her time, her value, and her peace. Meri stayed in limbo for years. Not in, not out. Quiet heartbreak, but deep. And yet, over time, she too started to rise, speaking at retreats, sharing her truth, no longer a victim, but a woman who survived. And when she finally declared, "I don't need permission to be happy anymore," something changed. Not only in her, but in all those observing. And the children? Well, they're not only okay, they're flourishing. Gwendolyn, Logan, Maddie, Savannah. They found each other to be lifelines. With public admiration and private affection, they've demonstrated what true family can be, even when the initial foundation fails. No evidence of the former pecking order Kody used to impose, no longer commanded by fists and power, just honesty, togetherness, and love. That Brown family we initially got to know is no more. And thank goodness for it. What has been revealed after the wreckage is something genuine and strong. Women and children who opted for truth over performance, peace over control, healing over hurt. They didn't walk away from Kody. They walked toward better. That's the legacy now. Not control, not polygamy, not one man in charge of one house. The legacy belongs to the children, to the women, to the truth. And for the first time in years, it's beautiful. No histrionic speeches, only a subtle turn that spoke volumes. They were finished playing games. Kody and Robyn were where they had put everyone else for all those years. On the outside, looking in. When it seemed like the Brown family saga was over, TLC took a gamble. The series came back. But it wasn't sister wives. It was freedom. Christine and Janelle returned, but on their own terms. No backroom deals, no stage scenes to shield Kody's reputation. This time, the women controlled the narrative. Gwendolyn came back, as did Logan, Madison, and Mykelti. But they were no longer kids. They were grown-ups. And for the first time, they got to tell their truth. The contrast was instant. No more pretending at family dinner. No more tiptoeing. We watched Janelle standing in her son Garrison's vacant house, hands trembling as she clutched aged photographs. We watched Christine cradling her grandchild, planning her wedding, smiling with no trepidation. Gwen spoke of the hurt she had concealed for so long. Logan, ever the mediator, finally uttered what needed to be said. This is not about hate. It's about safety. No staged apologies, no Kody interviews. Robyn was never named. And the viewers? They came. In huge numbers. The ratings went through the roof. Because this was no longer a show. This was something genuine. Freedom wasn't merely breaking free from polygamy. Freedom was surviving being controlled. And now, the narrative was coming from the people who lived it, not the man who once controlled it. And Kody? He wound up right where he had left everyone else. On the sidelines, observing the family he once dominated come to life without him. There was no editing, no spin on the story, no one to stand up for them. The viewers had witnessed too much, heard too much, and felt even more. There was no turning back. Kody's reputation had finally crumbled under its own doing. Years of playing favorites, manipulation, and emotional abandonment had come back to haunt him. Fans remembered it all. The tantrums, the disappearances, the Christmas holidays spent apart. The tears he quickly swept away. Even his own kids had finally had enough. They were more vocal in their absence than any words could ever be. One-sided phone calls, messages left unreturned, sons who did not wish to visit him, daughters who no longer believed him. And when Kody did attempt to make contact, nothing, just silence. Robyn attempted to save what was left of their tale. She made one last awkward interview, her voice shaking with resentment, inadequately disguised as sorrow. She accused Christine, Janelle, even Meri, of being bitter and jealous. But the viewers weren't swallowing it. Hashtags such as #VictimRobyn were trending. People weren't fooled by the tears. For years, Robyn had ridden quietly behind the demise of the family, painting herself as the martyr. But now, no one was playing that game. What really cut through the fray was a single post from Gwendolyn. No shouting, no rage, just one understated post. Healing starts when honesty begins. Simple, but it struck like thunder. Then Meri, Kody's once utmost defender, finally broke her silence with a serene truth that shook us all. Sometimes, you hold on so long, you forget you deserve peace. Those 3 words captured everything. It was not said out of bitterness. It was said with lucidity. And for fans, it was closure. And while all of this was happening, Kody spun out. His universe narrowed by the minute. No show, no family meals, no control. Just Robyn, the one person he had picked over all the others. But their little domain? Empty. Because when you spend years silencing others, sooner or later, nobody wants to hear you talk either. And now, we're witnessing the most unexpected transformation of all. Not hidden in the shadows of pain, but right in the open. A transformation rooted in truth, self-worth, and finally, freedom. But nothing could have prepared anyone for what came next. It was a silence you could touch. A silence that fell upon the room, not just blanketed it, settled, thick, choking. It clutched the air in that chapel with a weight no one could put into words. Rankings of broken faces sat locked, puffy eyes, clenched jaws, shattered hearts more than words could contain. This was Garrison's funeral. It was not a ceremony. It was the breakdown of all that had kept this dysfunctional family going. There was no plan for this sorrow. No TLC lighting could dim what was occurring here. Just brutal, unbridled loss. And then, they arrived. Kody and Robyn came into the chapel, not with the quiet despair of bereaved parents, but in their characteristic energy. Measured, practiced, off-kilter with the space around them. Robyn scanned the pews. Kody's stance was stiff, calculated. It wasn't grief, it was show. Others saw the looks, the slight head shakes. This wasn't another awkward moment in a series of awkward family situations. This was something more. This was the reckoning. Because what was buried that day wasn't just a much-loved son and brother. It was the final string keeping a family system intact based on emotional manipulation, double standards, and a finely honed veneer of perfection, no longer in proportion with the truth. The funeral didn't merely lay bare old scars. It ripped them wide open and unhealed. Hi friends, I'm Sarah, and welcome back to TLC's Next Updates. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments. Because this one cuts deeper than ever before. This was the moment everything changed. The moment the mask finally slipped. When the performance ended and the truth stood alone, exposed and undeniable. What resulted wasn't another operatic moment. It was a revolution in this family. The loss of Garrison devastated this family in a manner that nothing else could. It broke the facade of acting and confronted all with reality. The church was quiet, too quiet. There were no lights, no cameras, only sorrow, the kind that can't be acted. You could sense the grief in the air. It was in Janelle's silence, in the way Gabriel gazed at the floor, in the way Gwen clamped her hands over her face. She turned her face aside, guarding against the heaviness of the moment. The sorrow was already too much. But then, the doors of the church creaked, and everything changed. Kody and Robyn entered, hand in hand, as if they were walking onto the red carpet. Black head to toe. Kody's sleek boots dropped into place with practiced assertiveness. Robyn's designer bag hung over her shoulder. No break at Garrison's coffin. No solemn nod to Janelle. No recognition of the grief surrounding them. Only the snapping click of Robyn's heels down the aisle as they went directly to the front. Then, uninvited, Kody moved forward to the pulpit. He wasn't allowed to speak, but he didn't let that deter him. What came after was not a eulogy. It was an act, a debacle. Kody did not speak of the life of Garrison. He spoke of himself, of his anguish, his reputation, his bruised ego. "We mourn not only our children," he said, "but our influence and our legacy." The room changed in an instant. The silence was no longer somber. It was laden with incredulity, and then with rage. Janelle stood, quiet, unmoving, unyielding. Her voice didn't increase, but each syllable was a knife. "You don't get to do this," she declared. She put him out in front of the group for leaving Garrison behind, for manipulating facts, for taking today about him. The atmosphere shifted. Christine emerged. Logan trailed behind. Even Meri, who had once been steadfastly beside Kody all along, remained silent. No one attempted to halt Janelle, because finally, the truth had been told. And no one in that chapel wanted to defend a lie any longer. What transpired afterward was not just a lot of emotion. It was historic. When Janelle stood up to Kody in front of everyone, something deep and permanent shattered. There was no mending this. This time, the family didn't just grieve, they cut the cord. Christine and Janelle didn't release statements. There were no interviews, no dramatic sit-downs, just silence. The kind that means you're not welcome here anymore. One by one, the grown-up kids made their decision. They blocked Kody's number. No more birthday greetings, no strained holiday texts, no calls, nothing. Then it happened. A brief snippet of the funeral, 2 minutes or less, leaked onto the internet. It was all on display. Kody's narcissistic speech, Robyn's over-the-top crying in the background, and Janelle, up front, calm and collected, shutting it down with unadulterated truth. It went viral in a matter of moments. Fans who had long been disillusioned at last reached their breaking point. This was no longer the gradual erosion. This was the complete breakdown. Had I Cancel Kody trended on all platforms. Reruns of old episodes circulated. Reddit blew up. TikTok ablaze with stitched clips of Kody's most egregious moments. The screaming, the manipulation, the gaslighting, now viewed with newly formed, unfiltered discernment. In the background, TLC entered full-blown crisis mode. Executives fretted, backroom meetings, emergency memos. Could the show make it without Kody? Was it time to cut him loose for good? Because this wasn't about poor editing anymore, or stale storylines. This was about responsibility. Meanwhile, the family, they remained silent. No statements, no tweets, no posturing. Just a quiet dinner at Christine's house. No cameras, no producers, just family. The ones who had opted for truth, peace, and each other.